really did. Yeah, Bruce didn't really. He was a protest song. Born in the USA was like a protest song. Just saying. It's a fact. This cup is dirty. That's another fact. Oh, I know why. I know why. There was a plant in that cup that got put to the outdoors. Pepper, you okay, honey? Oh, she's right there. She don't like them thunders and lightnings and stuff and fireworks. As so you may know, almost lost her 4 years ago to that. Might have been it was 4 or 5 years ago. It was crazy. It was scary as hell. Did a video. We were out. She was out for like 11 or 12 hours in Queen Anne. She jetted out to Queen Anne, and we were in Lower Queen Anne for the fireworks at a friend's house. And then I wasn't used to that because Livy didn't bother Livy. But so Pepper just was, man, I went to take her home because it was getting too much. From the party we went to, it turned in from a few people to a lot of people. So it's like, well, let's, take her home. So I go take her home. Right when I was going up the stairs, I slipped on the stairs, lost her leash, dropped my beer, and like she just took off through the crowd and nobody could catch her. She was gone, man. And then the night was just the worst, man. Yeah, my girlfriend at the time, we were just like up all night driving around looking for roadkill and just scared as fuck. And she got all the way up in Upper Queen Anne near where my sister used to live. And we then somebody found her up there. Hi, Cheryl. A couple folks are watching. So anyway, Kevin's about to sign on in a minute. Anyway, so yeah, the guy, he was up there getting a haircut in Upper Queen Anne, and he's a dogger too, and he's a musician, and he saw this dog, this beautiful dog walking down the street with, leash behind him, and it hit her, and he's like, that just doesn't look quite right. I better check that out. And so then that's how, then he grabbed her, and that's how we got Livy back. And it has only been like a year after we had lost. Oh God, did I say? Oh my God, I'd be a horrible parent. That's how we got Pepper back. It was a year before we had lost Livy. Oh my God, dude. That's like, yeah. So anyway, it's terrifying. Come on, Kevin. We're gonna be talking today about freedom. Sure, liberty, interest, your liberty and right, celebration of life, celebration of liberty, your right to own a Black-owned cannabis shop. Nugatory, not happening here. Seattle still isn't yet, unless you're connected with certain people. Then we're going to talk about a couple of different things. Your right to be free as a journalist, or citizen, to talk about things without getting your blogs taken down. Because as you guys may know, last 2 weeks, 3 of my major blogs got taken down. So we're talking about that. And we're talking about anti-SLAPP, as I did the angry version. Well, they're all angry versions because I'm angry as fuck the whole time. But, I didn't mean to swear this one. But okay, I promise I won't swear it again. This is the clean version, the one that I can show my parents later and they won't get it. Well, I can't show my mom, but I can kind of show my mom. But, I can show dad and then he won't have a hissy, Where's Kevin? Let's see if he's texted me or something. I know he's here. I just talked to him. But see, Kevin's busy now. He's, you never know what might happen to him in the span of 5 minutes. He's a special needs child. He's got a lot of things going on. And of course, the care of his child has suffered since this thing happened. Yeah, I know. Oh God, I don't have the adapter. I was going to put the nice camera on, but, I do have the adapter. Mostly affects Zoom. It doesn't necessarily affect you guys. All right. Well, let's get Kevin though, guys. Okay.
Hi, this is Kevin. I'm unable to answer my phone right now. So,
all right, I assume he's about to come on. But like I say though, you don't know. I can never imagine what that's like to have a special needs child, and your life isn't more than just having a child without challenges. Your life, is a constant challenge, and it's not made any easier when people are in your pocket trying to take 49% of your company, for example. Things of that nature. Pepper, would you care for a treat? What treat, honey? Oh, she's just so down. She didn't even move for the treat. You know what I mean? She's just sitting there in the corner. Do you have a big dinner there, big weekend there, Cheryl? I hope you had a good one. Mine's decent, but it could be better if I still have my blogs. See if that brother left me a message or something. There he is. There he. Oh, we're also going to talk about horizontal separation in the market. It is a Sherman Act violation. That's going on with the LCB too. There he is. I see you out of doors there, brother. Nice aviators.
You hear me?
All right. Gosh. Yo, yo, yo.
What's going on?
Well, 1 second. Cool. You hear me? You hear?
Clear.
You hear?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, you got some horrible reception where you're at, bro.
Yeah. Welcome to the airport.
Gosh. Oh man, you might as well not be there. Oh my God, Kevin. Oh my God. Can't hear you, can't see you. Could be a rough show today. You've got no reception there in your yard or wherever you are, I guess. You're not on mute, but I cannot hear you, and it's kind of broken up.
Let me go back out and come back in.
Wow.
Let me try.
What in the hell?
What about now?
Oh, wait.
I was leaving.
We were doing the podcast, so it's a long story. The settings got changed, so my microphone had become the speakers had become the microphone. It's a long story. Anyway, man, good to see you, brother.
Hey, good to see you. Can you hear me now?
Yes. You're coming through
all right, good.
loud and clear.
Good.
So, Kevin and I did a little bit of work the last couple of days getting together this information we got from some other people involving his lawsuit and just the overall graft at Liquor and Cannabis Board. But first off, on Independence Day, let's talk about your liberty and your right to own a cannabis shop. Kevin, how's that feel for you today? You celebrating?
No, not celebrating, bro. Nope. Not celebrating. I'm not gonna keep celebrating and then keep getting bent over and getting it put all the way in, with a gravel condom and keep celebrating. Nope. That's how celebrating is over.
Yeah, I know. And I know I talk to my family about it sometimes, and sometimes they think, oh, they're worried about me and this and that. I get it, but I just try to tell them that I ain't really celebrating. I mean, what I'm supposed to celebrate now, how about talking about my right to run a blog or my right to have my voice heard as a trained professional journalist? That right's been vitiated. Had 3 of my blogs taken down. So I'm supposed to get up and dance and prance for a couple chicken bones, as Peter Manning would say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those days are over, man.
Mm-hmm.
Those we getting our shit back, and we're gonna celebrate once we get these problems, fixed. That's going on in the so-called government. We're gonna celebrate after we get these problems fixed, man. We ain't having that bullshit no more, man.
No.
So airplane.
I know. So he's down in his own. He's actually, Kevin lives not too far from the current, the new build for Khalifa, where they're building yet more stores right in his backyard. Insult to injury. Unbelievable. There's all these delays that go on, but we can celebrate in a minute. Let's celebrate for Black excellence in cannabis and Emerald Haze, because they got a couple licenses, but that was last year. I think it was after July 4th of last year, though. So let's celebrate those guys. Hey, Kevin, if we're going to celebrate those guys, do we have the documents that indicate how they got their licenses?
Not that I know of. Yeah,
Right.
not that I. Yeah, we have some documents asking for the public information from the Cannabis Board, but we haven't got this. It's been months, man.
Right. I know we start off sounds like a broken record, but it is a broken record. And so if people get tired of hearing about it, I don't care. You don't have to watch, you don't have to listen, but we're documenting it every time. And Ann and the people out east, they want to talk to us. They can't wait to meet us. Yeah, you got some Black folks out there that have full-time jobs that are dedicating this segment of their lives to this podcast. Ann orders up the written transcript. You press a button and you order up the transcript, right? It comes out, costs you a little bit of money, whatever. And then there's this brother out there that's reading those and helping her know. It's like doing a deposition summary. What's on what page? Where do you have this? Where do you have that? And so they're doing that now for us. And that's a thing that is a beautiful thing. And these are the kind of Black folks that we want to celebrate, the kind of white folks, white people and wrong people, bright people and wrong people. We want to celebrate the right people and expose the wrong people. And that's the nugget of what we're doing here, and they can't stop that podcast. So in that filing that we worked on and you submitted last night, it talked about a couple different things that we could go ahead and branch out and go over now. And I'll do a quick screen share. I'll let you go. I've been busy with the machines all weekend. I did a rear tire on the Triumph, full oil service, cleaned everything, cleaned both bikes are as clean as they're gonna get, polished, got the car ready for wax again, did that. What else? Gosh, so the Ducati is getting a partial oil change. I'm gonna just do the oil this time, and then the filter, and the oil screen next week or two, after I run this oil through, because this oil's been in it about 4,000 miles. And I'm just saying, through a season too. So I'm just gonna do a flush, get as much out of the filter as I can today, and then in a week or two, go ahead and hit it, do the whole thing. And so do no harm to Ducati. If you do harm to Ducati, Ducati will do harm to you quickly and expensively. As in, on the market now, Ducati formerly owned by a dangerous blogger named Chris King. All right. But so let's talk about let's get to the show, the real part of the show. Were you familiar with AntiSlap before I discovered that it was resurrected in Washington last year?
No.
So yeah, AntiSlap means it's an acronym, and it's called Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation, which means that if you're going after a public official or talking about things dealing with the public or legislation, or if you are engaging in protected speech that's in the public interest, which is what I do, if somebody files a suit against you based on those activities, there's a presumption that it could be, a violation of anti-SLAPP laws. Okay, got me? All right, so that's what happened with Paula's motion in her petition that I've got a request for reconsideration coming up on the 15th of July, because what she did was, if you look at the requested remedy, Kevin, there's a number of things she did in there that I talked about with Ann today, but this is focused on this one thing right now. But we know she lied about why she called Sammy. Sammy's already exposed that. And she also had said the requested relief, which was signed off on by her lawyers, David Otto and Benjamin York. They were trying to get me barred from speaking at public events, any event where Paula Sardinas might be around. What do you think about that?
Sounds like some type of makeshift gag order or something, man. Definitely doesn't sound legal.
And, right,
Definitely.
and it is. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, and it isn't. Okay, and so I noticed when I filed my petition, my supplements, my rehearing, which will be heard on the 15th, I noted that my courtroom witness said he didn't hear any of my arguments mentioned by the court. And even if I didn't show up in person because I wasn't served on time, even if I didn't do that, the court is still obliged to look at the record and make an inquiry based on what was in the record. And in the record, I had about 4 filings leading up to that, and one of them that day, asking them to dissolve the TPO, the temporary protective order. The guys, just so you know, it's a civil protective order. It's not criminal. They were trying for that. They wanted a criminal protection order and all this stuff. They wanted court fees, court costs, the same shit they threatened with Miles Davis and Nate Gate, the same lawyers. Yeah.
8 Miles, not Miles Davis.
Hey, no thing. Ain't none. Do not confuse these two brothers. No. So that's so if you look at the sought relief, it made no sense. And I even covered another nugget of in the petition in the document I filed today, Kevin. Think about this. Everybody, I've never met Paula Sardinas face to face anyway. I've never tried to get to her house. I've never inquired of her house. None of that stuff is in the record. And I've said it, I put an affidavit in, a declaration saying I've never tried to approach her house, her children, her husband. The only time I did that was I wrote her husband, thinking it might be a brother, but it's her husband, I guess, Albert. And he said, take me off your distribution list. Okay, guess what I did? Duh. You're off my distribution list. Took
him off.
Took him off. Right. No violence, no threats, no nothing. Right. He's not the one who defamed me. So I took him off. That's what happened. That's what you do. And then their lawyers try to get me to stop emailing them too. And I said, no, you can go pound sand. I'm gonna take you off my general distribution list, which you could have asked a long time ago. No, and as soon as you asked, guess what I did? Took you off. But now it's like they won't tell me now that I can't talk to them about stuff relating to my case. They're like, look how many emails you sent us. And I'm like, well, dude, first of all, if your client weren't so freaking filthy, you wouldn't get all those emails.
Anytime somebody asks to be taken off, we've always taken them off. You've always taken them off. They're acting like you have them in some type of electronic email prison or some bull crap. I mean, when somebody wants out, you let them out.
I know, right? And there was that one chick a long time ago, and I tried to tell that other brother that, one of the other black pioneers who was getting on me about how I was going after this chick. And I tried to tell him, he didn't want to listen. I said, there's a game being played here, and they're trying to play me out like some kind of a terrorist, because what she did was the email where I found her, she's with the 30th District Dems, I think, 30 or 31st. All right. Forget her name offhand. She's one of these woke people, now supports her. She's a progressive lesbian. Nothing wrong with that, but I mean, it's one of those things. That's the mantra that they're putting out right now. Not a lot of support for like strong, straight black males at all, really. But anyway, so here's the deal. So she comes in, and the email I found her on was related to cannabis. It was out in the public. So I put her on my chain. She said, take me off. But the email she sent, the take me off, the removal request was from a different email. So I'm looking, I'm like, hey, I don't know how to take you off. I don't remember which fucking email it was. There was like 100 people on my list, bitch. What? Oh God, I swore again. There's 100 people on my list. Please tell me which one is it? Okay. And she played around with me. She was just trying to get me. And then and our Mr. Pink was like, why are you wasting all the time on her? It ain't nothing. Why just take her off the list? And I was like, dude, I'm trying to take her off the list. I'm not sure which person it is. Hello. And I told him back then that was a game they were playing. And that game has come to fruition now, as we're seeing with Paula's gamesmanship. So eventually I found out what the email address was, but she accused me of stalking her. She accused me of all these things, okay? from a allegedly progressive lesbian white, Asian, Amerasian white female. Okay, yeah. So I was up to that game way back then. That's how they try to take you out, like you're some kind of a terrorist or something. And it's like, no, just tell me what your sorry, tell me what your email address is, and I'll remove you. Duh. All right. And, attorneys Otto and York. This is the clean version of the one I did yesterday, where I said I could talk any way I want to on my effing blogs, as long as I'm not threatening anybody. I'll say whatever I want to say. It doesn't matter. All right. So anyway, so there's that beat, that piece for that background. The other thing, Kevin, is yeah. So yeah. So all of these, yeah. Here's the nugget. These meetings are all held by Zoom anyway. So it clearly shows that's an overbroad request anyway. Even if it were constitutionally based, it's still overbroad, and it's not the least intrusive means to address this compelling governmental interest, which is the dissemination of news as my member of the being a member of the Fourth Estate. This is all I told them. You walked into my bailiwick, you walked into my turf with this thing. I told them that. And now if the law is in any ways correct, I will beat them. I will smoke them, as I said. And they try to say smoke them. That means I'm going to shoot them up. Dude, they tried everything. They niggerized me. What's his name? Cornel West. Talk about the niggerization of people. That's what they're doing. Yeah. Presto, instant criminal. I have no criminal background whatsoever, but presto, we're going to try to make this Negro have a criminal background. Meanwhile, they complain about like you and me and other people trying to take down a black woman. They need to go to hell. They need to go straight to hell. Yeah. So that pretty much covers the anti-SLAPP news. And so just so you guys know, there was a case in Washington. I had lost track of anti-SLAPP because Washington got rid of it a number of years ago, like 4 years ago, maybe, because the proof burdens weren't correct. And so they corrected that now in the new one. It's RCW 4.150, I believe. So that's the story there. All right. So I motioned them in my case against Paula for defamation. I requested the court give a hearing, which it's supposed to do within 60 days. And then I also put it into the protective order case too. And I emailed that pro tem judge, David Hamanara, or some of his name, can't remember his name. I emailed him and Otto and York. And all I said was, hello, this filing was made today, blah, blah, blah. And since they didn't want to agree to informal service of the complaint and all that stuff, I said, really, guys, after all this, you're going to play that game with me? Okay. So I said, you'll be served in a minute. So I went to ABC Legal, dropped $150 for expedited service. And unfortunately, they would have got popped on Friday, but they were closed on Friday. So I'm like, well, how about this? You're served now, dude. Good God. That's what we're dealing with here. These kind of just horrible people.
And the only reason that, they're claiming that they're being attacked is because this group of people is associated with the Cannabis Board, and they're associated with this cover up, the racketeering, with the Nate Gate extortion. It's some heavy, claims that's being made against them, man, not by only us, but apparently maybe a couple hundred other people, that's being, hush hush right now, so yeah, if it would have been anybody else that we would have been trying to expose, if it had just been the puppy land itself and nothing to do with the Cannabis Board, nobody would be in court trying to get nothing.
That's right. And why isn't Paula barking up Jesse Jones' tree for exposing it? He's the one that did the 2 5-minute stories on it. Cairo 7. I think their readership has about a little bit bigger than mine. Just a petite pill, right? Yeah. Hi Beth, how are you, hon? So yeah, that's what's up there. So yeah, I think we're about ready to move on from the anti-SLAPP thing. I think. Yep. Yeah, that's right. And again, the whole thing is being that. Yeah, I already talked about it. It's overbroad, not narrowly tailored, because boom, the meetings are held on Zoom. So I'm gonna kill her over Zoom or something like Scanners. Do you remember the movie Scanners? I can't hear you. Can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I guess.
Oh yeah, scanners, man. Them with them veins popping out, them brains busting. Yeah.
Let me do it. Let me do it. Let me do it.
Hey, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, moving on from there. Speaking of compelling governmental interest and all that, and they came out with the rubrics. I've got to look at their rubrics to see if they match up with New York City's, because I know in our rubrics there's no specific mention of race. And Peter Manning and those guys mentioned it. Mike Asai, they mentioned it last week at the hearing. They're all like mouses, you know, or mice, you know, like all meek and shit. Like, well, yeah, well, I just was, but I was just wondering. They were like, I was just trying to. I just thought maybe if I'm not sure if I noticed that race wasn't included in the final draft, and well, I know we've been waiting 2 years and it's not in there. And I'm Mr. Inslee. If I'm not sure, Mr. Garza, I'm not sure, like how you plan to address that. Castration mode, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Unbelievable. So,
And
again,
how they want.
Go ahead.
I said they're going to address it how they want to address it. They're definitely not doing nothing ethical. That social equity has not been anything that they told us it was going to be, and that's according to the lawyers too. It hasn't been anything but what do you call it? Stringing us along. And in the meantime, while they're stringing us along, they're picking and choosing which one of their friends or who's connected to them that they're going to have as the poster child for this social equity thing. And it doesn't have shit to do with equity and inclusion unless they're giving equity to themselves and their family members and including people that they know. And the last time I heard, that was like called cronyism, you know. So
We're about to get to that now with the horizontal. Let's call it the horizontal bop. All right. Because people is getting all right.
Yeah.
So what it is I have it right here. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Nope, that's not it. Hang on. I've got it right in your folder, okay? And so according to a very learned person who contacted us this week, as you are aware, there's a Sherman Act issue here, okay? And I didn't study I studied IP law, but I didn't study this, the Sherman antitrust stuff, you know, a bit, but I gave that about as much attention as they give civil rights in law school attention to most people. I was the opposite in law school. I was all about where's the civil rights. Most people were like, what's the business so I can make money, you know? Yeah. But so in your filing here, hold on. Oh, come now. Okay, let's do it this way. Good God. Okay, I know how to find it. Okay. Call that. Okay. Oh, it would be right here. Yeah, it's right here. Okay. So I'm gonna go to Screenshare, okay? And we'll take a look at this thing. All right, hold on, and then we'll be done. I ran the Ducati just now, so the oil's warm, so it'll drain out there nicely and get that done. So, all right, Screenshare, boom. Dot. Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
So this is the more information that we've discovered right now, okay? And yes, Cheryl Hancock, yes, they are punks. And she said to tell you hello. So we'll talk to her on the phone one day. Cheryl Hancock's cool. She's a cool cousin of mine. So the thing that we worked on that you filed yesterday, newly discovered evidence, Paula Sardinas failed anti-SLAPP attack on me, because that's part of the whole racketeering thing, you know, keep him silent. All right. So we already covered that portion of this, but there's a Sherman Act horizontal market division. What does that mean? It means that you can't go in there as a government. And that's the other thing too about these newspapers. All right. Since when is it not incumbent to investigate these clear-cut allegations of embezzlement that Aaron Barfield made. And just to show them again real quickly, Buchanan, not his partner by choice, worst partner I've ever had. Our other partner says he stole 1.1 million from him, allegedly has gotten judgments against him for 400K. And then forensic audit showed that he'd taken 300K from Emerald Hayes illegally and then threw Aaron under the bus to distract from his wrongdoing. And of course, the part about he and Ollie Garrett had a relationship for years. Okay, boom, boom, right? He was telling me he loved me like a son. Well, he stabbed me in the back. Not even one that people should follow. So instead of like looking at that stuff, all right, and this is just like Khalifa, although they're white, they had that that conduct and $4 million worth of fraud judgments against them. They had the U.S. attorney or the U.S. trustee write a complaint against them in their bankruptcy court where they were fraudulent in that. They end up getting licenses, and they're putting one up right around the corner from you. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
Their biggest ever.
It's been up and running for a month.
That's right. Yeah. So go ahead.
I said the parking lot is packed, and whenever I pass by.
Yeah, they're allowed to propagate and go forward, no problem. But we sit here stuck on stupid again, right? How does that work? Pepper, would you like a treat?
Yeah.
Pepper.
And how do they have 5 or 6 stores and new stores when you're only supposed to get 3 per applicant?
Yeah, right. It's unbelievable. Yeah, that's right. And so they go ahead on and they put the Seattle Times, who said they were going to talk to us. Yeah, sure. They put Jim Buchanan, an accused embezzler, on the front page to play up to their new and improved social equity program. That still hasn't done a damn thing for anybody except those cronies, right? So,
yep.
And there's the thing that they picked up their game, you know, as because of the podcast they know is coming. There's a couple shots with Libby and then with me, with Ann doing our thing there. And so we went through this already. Went through the fact that they played one small portion coming off a mid-sentence about the I'm gonna John Wiki legally. They cut it off. So then we went through all that and then through all that. So now we get to, we've already talked about Sammy Saad and how he said she was lying about why she called him and all that. We've been through all that. And so now here's this thing here. This goes into the Art West thing that was referenced by Peter Manning when they agreed to pay him $192,000 not to come back again. That's heavy, dude. And then he won another big lawsuit against somebody else too. And, you know, and they call him a gadfly. It's like, wait a minute, you know, hi, Ann, how you doing? He's not a gadfly, all right? No, he's a civil rights investigator, basically, because he's investigating what LCB was doing and having these private meetings. And in those private meetings, that's when they met with the police and local jurisdictions and said, you know, go ahead, screw these Black people and people in that community and screw these medicals who aren't associated with us, run them out of business. All right. You know this, you know, they pick their favorites. That's what they do. So you have that piece. So they mischaracterize Art West as a gadfly. That's a pejorative term. It really is. Especially when you're dealing with legal stuff. We used to say gadfly in the 80s when we're talking about somebody who's like a social gadfly. They'd be all, you know, bar hopping at all the trendy places and doing stuff like that in Cleveland. And I worked for an alternative newspaper called the Cleveland Edition, owned by Bill Gunlock, whose parents owned the Gunlock company, the chair company that the Supreme Court sits on. By the way, those big regal chairs are Gunlocks. So when he got his inheritance, he didn't buy a fucking, he didn't buy a Ferrari. He bought a newspaper. And I worked at that newspaper in the 80s. Anyway, so yeah. Bill, we're still in touch on Facebook. When I go to New York every now and then, we'll catch lunch, you know? So it's been a while now. But anyway, yeah, he moved to New York. So there you have the background. Art West uncovered that stuff. So the case, the seminal case is California liquor dealers versus Mid-Cal Aluminum. All right. And so the thing is that LCB cannot just delegate all the pricing authority to private parties while simultaneously limiting access to government licenses. All right. The retail markets were divided among a limited number of licensees, and the state of Washington takes no role in reviewing prices or production levels in the canopy, all that stuff, which they're starting to try to do now, right? Okay. Other than enforcing pricing decisions made by private entities, private parties in their own economic interests without regard to anti-competitive effect. So, you know, so that was how someone else summed it up to get that to me. And then I said, you know, it's basically an economic free-for-all, a shootout at the OK Corral, if you will, where the privateers with the most money, power, and influence manhandle the markets at their individual and collective whimsy. Boom. All right. And remember that judge, the pro tem judge said, oh, if King, if he keeps on making videos like that, nobody's gonna listen to him anyway. That's because I don't just make videos where I'm cussing, fool. Didn't it occur to you that like they cut all those sound bites where I cursed once and strung it together? You know, I make videos that are much bigger than that. And they know it. So
yeah,
anyway.
there were several like little 10-second sound clips that he played. And, you know, just like we're doing today, these videos last 40 minutes plus, and then when it cut, we'll go and open up another one and do another 45 minutes. So, you know, I know that there's some time constraints that they had on playing those videos because of, you know, it was a hearing, but man, could a brother at least get 1 minute?
Yeah, I know. So that's, like I say, when the Rule 59, I demanded an oral argument based on the fact, inter alia, that, as you mentioned, Paula Sardinas said point blank, that man's going to get someone killed. Well, who, Paula? Should the courts take an interest in that? So we got to follow up with that. What were you talking about, Paula? Who's getting killed? You? Me? Kevin? Libby? Who is it? No. All right. So,
yeah.
So here's this thing here. So when the court made their ruling, I love the final little barb they threw out at the end of that case. And it said, the national policy in favor of competition cannot be thwarted by casting such a gauzy cloak of state involvement over what is essentially a private price fixing arrangement. Yeah. And that's why the people were telling me yesterday when they wrote us, this dovetails right in with your case, because that's what's going on. It's privateers run amok. It's an oligarchy. It's a capitalistic oligarchy is what it is. Totally. Yeah. Right.
I agree.
Yeah, man. And I said, this is just another uncomfortable truth about blacks and cannabis, the same way that I was the first journalist to expose the lies about the lack of criminal authority in the Emerald, you know, and Luna picked it up and then followed it with the newspaper. And I exposed it about Sean Kemp not being black owned because I was having, I was on Mr. Pink's talk show twice a week at that time, with another brother that, knew Sean Kemp because they used to ball together and stuff, and so, yeah, it's just one of those things that, everything we do is right out in the open, and there isn't, there's a story there that, and then, so the quote, oh yeah, let's go to the quote. Yeah. No, hold on. I'm going to pop a slice of pizza in the oven 1 second, and then we'll finish this quote and I'll let you go. Okay. So what Luna wrote, and Luna's she's the only journalist who even talked to us. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to read this into the record. She said, Christopher King, an activist who worked as a journalist and private practice attorney before moving to Washington in 2012, was excited about the new cannabis legislation and voted for I-502. And they quote me, at the time, I did not fully comprehend the negative consequences that would foreseeably flow from it. If you knew more about it, like people have been here, I explained in the interview. So then in October of 2020, I decided I had to create awareness about what I perceived as the LCB's violation of the public's 14th Amendment rights and filed a lawsuit against the LCB in hopes of exposing them. Quote, they are fake cops in the business of unauthorized constitutional deprivation, and the whole dang scheme needs to be taken down. And any case involving non-certified peace officers needs to be wound back or damages provided to the innocent, King said. As a former government lawyer, I know how slippery things can be. And the LCB is about the slipperiest agency I've ever witnessed on many fronts. King's case is currently at a standstill. That's the one with Novak, involving also medical testing that they failed on. That's another story for another day. But King's case is currently at a standstill while a decision is being made about whether it should be heard in federal court. Guess when that story was written, brother?
2020?
No. It was written 11 months ago, August of 2021.
Oh, 21.
Yeah. So, how can they now continue to try to say, I think we're off of Screenshare now. Yeah. How can they continue now at this juncture to try to say that I'm not talking about items of public interest That's just crazy. And then Paula jumped up in that meeting with you and tried to say, I don't have to talk to anybody. Remember that? I'm not obliged to return anybody's call. But I want to know, why did you remove that quote on your LinkedIn page that said, I'm for social equity because I'm for cannabis equity because I'm for equity because equity is for it starts with everyone. And in her other quotes, she's a public figure, dude. If you run her name plus equity, it shows up everywhere. And so she's always touting herself as someone who's reaching out to everybody, when really she reached out to Sammy to shut us up and to get him away from us. And then when he didn't want to do it, she told him to shut the fuck up. And had Peter Manning lurking in the background in violation of the law. 18 U.S. Code, blah, 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 18 U.S. Code 2511. And so whoa. I want to show you real quick.
Let me say something shortly after the Sammy call that Peter Manning, Black Excellence in Cannabis, called me and told me that I could join Black Excellence in Cannabis, and I had a good chance of winning a license because he had vetted my case, and it's a very good lawsuit. And all I had to do was take back everything that I ever said about Ollie Garrett on the record and make a public apology. Basically, tell a lie and go ahead and perjure myself so I can get ready, be fine-tuned for that orange jumpsuit they have waiting for me. If they want to come. All right. Well, all of this is he is a lie. So let's go ahead and arrest his ass for lying on a public record. But but I told him I wouldn't. I will not lie. I'm not gonna lie.
That's right. And I showed them just real quick. We got 5 minutes left. I think we're gonna finish on one. I showed people. Let's do a quick screen share here again. I showed folks where. Come on. Let's finish it in one. We're gonna do this. Okay. All right, right here. I wrote a anti-SLAPP notice to LCB, by the way, just so people can see that. I put that in there about everything that I just kind of showed you in there. But not only that, in the complaint that I filed against Paula Sardinas, all right, I specifically mentioned the oh shit, where were we? Uh-oh, I'm getting old. Oh, Kevin, where were we with this just now?
Where were we?
Yeah, I was gonna show you. I was gonna bring up one more point from this, from what I filed in my lawsuit against Paula. And I'm trying to remember what it was. But if that's not the one, I got just Chris. There, that's the one. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. There was another point I was just about to make about all this, Kevin. I don't know. I've certainly made my points, man. But there's one more thing I was going to show you.
I was finishing up on Peter Manning.
Oh yeah. Thank you. I know what it is now. What it was how she had him lurking in the background.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's a problem, dude, because you can't do that. And I showed why you can't do that, right? And I had oh, doggone it, that's not the one. Oh, I know where it is. Oh, Mr. Cotter, I know. It's gonna be the 59 there. I cited the law. Here we go, dog. This is the law. And by the way, so when you were in court, I put pictures in there. Remember he was all Peter Manning's like, how come you always put pictures in your brief? Why do you always put pictures in your brief? Mister, I can't do it. You can do it.
Not with my nose and throat today.
All right. But I said, because pictures don't lie, brother, but sometimes people like you do, So anyway, I filed stuff at the court the day before the hearing, even asking them to dissolve the hearing, and you can see it right there. The clock on the wall is 1:10. Just before the hearing, and there it is filed. It wasn't mentioned, but anyway, I cited the code section, interception of disclosure of wire, oral, or electronic communications. You know, anybody who intentionally uses, endeavors to use, or procures any other person to use or endeavor to use any electronic, mechanical, or other device to intercept any oral communication is subject to punishment under sections 4 and 5. And that includes, you know, like criminal sanctions and lawsuits and all of that stuff, you know? You can't do that, dude. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, look, most of the stuff that they're doing, you know, for the cannabis board and all of their people that's connected to them, most of it is stuff that's in violation of civil rights and human rights and any of the other kind of rights. They're just making up stuff as they go along.
Yeah, they are.
That's what they're doing. It's obvious, man.
It really is.
Even the peers have said that they're overreaching their limited authority, man. You know, they didn't. Looking at Luna Ray's story, they couldn't receive. They didn't receive basic law enforcement academy training, and they said we're not going to do it. Their superior said no, we're not going to do it. That's an overreach. Yeah. But what are they doing about those of us that have been overreached on? Okay, what are they doing about that? Yes, overreach, but why are you allowing them to continue to overreach and to continue to give their friends licenses and deals and make magical licenses appear and tell us no, and then everybody else around us is still getting licenses and shit like that, and they're keeping that quiet?
Bingo. And we're cutting right now. We're out, Kevin. It's about time's up. Love you, brother. Talk to you later.